Good morning, y'all. I'm gonna go grab a coffee and a bagel. Y'all ready to get nasty on them?
Previously on Kimba TV. And remember, we always have another opportunity. So imagine if this goes to 56 or if this goes to 54 and we get into another 500, 600 Bitcoin long from there. Did we really need to chase anything and be like, fuck, we missed the 50,000? We might be able to get a 53,000 long. And that long might be better than this one. It might be the one that gets us back into value area and then breach 76.
All right. Y'all ready? Y'all ready to get nasty on them today?
13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's juice! Here we go now. Here we go now. Easy money, ho. Easy money, ho. Easy money, ho. Let's go.
Let's go. Easy money, ho. Show me you know what you're doing, Lions. Let's go. Easy money, ho. Let's go. Let's go. Let's juice. Come on.
Motherfucker, the
Liquidation, motherfucker. Boy, let's go.
All right, stop the music, stop the music. How many of y'all understand that if PPI comes in higher than expected, what does that mean? If PPI comes in lower than expected, what does it mean for the economy? If the PPI came in higher than expected, what would we anticipate CPI to be like tomorrow? If the CPI is high or CPI is down, what does that mean for inflation? What could it mean for deflation? And what could it mean for a recessionary period? And if you can't break that down, then don't even try trading today. Alrighty? But we've spent the last couple weeks and months talking about it. Hopefully it's starting to click. All right, you can start to anticipate how you think the probabilities of a September rate hike is going to change, right? Or a rate cut. Y'all ready? Easy money, Bugatti money, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all ready to see it? Phase 1. This is phase 2. All right, and then we got phase 3 in a little bit, in about 57 minutes. Y'all ready? Easy money, Bugatti money, ladies and gentlemen. The math is the math. Let's go. Y'all know what it is.
Let's juice on these hoes, man.
Okay, if PPI is high or CPI is low, what does that mean for inflation? What does that mean for the stock market? What does it mean for the currency? All right, so a lot of these things are just conceptual ideas that even like high school kids get taught, you know, in AP Econ. So make sure you get caught up. You got to understand the basic concepts of the inner workings of the, you know, economic infrastructure, if you will. You gotta be able to at least tell me, oh shit, this is good for inflation, this is bad. This is good for the US dollar, this is bad. All right, and then you kind of start with, okay, is it priced in? Is it not? Is it debate? Is the initial move going to be debate? Et cetera, et cetera. So all the stuff that we kind of talked about last week as we anticipated today and tomorrow. Remember, today, tomorrow, it's preparation meeting opportunity. All right, so you don't want to be the dickhead that shows up the day of talking about, what's the plan? All right, how y'all doing so far? Guy Bai says, so Kimba, tell us, how do you interpret this? Well, you got to give me a specific question, Guy Bai. I don't know what you don't know. If you're somebody that can't even tell me the basic concepts, like if the PPI is up or down, what would you expect CPI to do? If PPI is up or down, is inflation up or down? Is it good for the stock market? I don't know what you don't know, guide by. So you need to tell me. I mean, I think most people that have been watching me for the last couple months know exactly how I'm interpreting this. So you got to give me a specific question, guide by. I have no idea what you don't know. If you're somebody that can't even tell me if PPI is good for inflation or bad for inflation with the numbers that it came out, you got to study the basics before we can even have a conversation. All right, so hit me with a like a specific question, not something so open-ended like, how do you interpret this? Because I don't know what you don't know. All right, let's go. Anything else? I mean, even stuff like this, you know, we say it all the time, but it's a little bit different when you can see it happen yourself, you know? I don't know if on traditional markets like S&P index that if, you know, spending 2 hours inside of a gap is good enough, but from a conceptual standpoint, you guys know that if you spend enough time in an imbalance or a gap, the probability increases the longer that you spend time in here that it's going to do what? And I don't even care like if you believe it yet or not, but how many of you guys have been able to see it for yourself? It's one thing that I say it, but how many of y'all have been able to witness it yourself? The longer that you spend in an imbalance, the higher probability it's going to fill it. And doesn't it hit different when I just say it versus you guys get to see it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in a row yourself? So pretty cool, pretty cool. We got 60 seconds on the hourly candle close here. It's about to be 1 o'clock, or excuse me, it's going to be noon in New York. So 4 more hours left until traditional markets close, y'all. What a day, what a day. Longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, bears, we're all lions. I feel like we're doing a lot better than yesterday in terms of just chaos. So you guys are doing great. NamGod says, I drew the FRVP from February 29th, August 7th, so my value area low was a little different than when you draw it. I thought the small difference wouldn't matter, but it did because the failed auction and mine ended up outside of value area low. How should I draw FRVP? That's a little, there is no right or wrong. This is how I drew it. So this is CME, right? For me, this is CME. This is Coinbase. So there is no right or wrong, brother. You know, on Coinbase, it was perfect. On CME, it didn't get there quite yet. The way that I draw it is you can see where I started. So I'm including this, February 28th, because this is the candle that went into this range. So you did it on derivatives? Okay. That's even a little bit tougher. I would always prioritize Coinbase and CME if I'm going to be looking at value area high, value area low. Yeah, but that's okay. So try it on CME and Coinbase, NamGod, and see how close you can get. And remember, brother, there's no right or wrong. But I took it from the February 28th. Yeah, but do it on CME and Coinbase and see what you get. But if you took it from the 29th, brother, we're kind of nickel and diming. I don't think you did anything wrong. If anything, I think that's a great example of how we can work together. And maybe when I pull mine back a little bit, it changes things. And maybe the juice, really, NamGod, is not so much about figuring out, oh, fuck, I did it wrong, I want to do it right. It's for you to be able to have the adjustment and the buffer. So next time, don't just sit there with an FRVP with one start date and one end date. Move that bitch around and see how it changes. So you can start to maybe form a zone, a value area low zone, a point of control zone, a value area high zone. So I don't think you did anything wrong, but maybe what you need to do is have a little bit more fun and move it around a day or two and see if that changes anything. And if changing things provides extra confluence with, say, Coinbase and CME and derivatives together. Sounds good? That's what I would say. I don't think you did anything wrong, though. Maybe all you need to do is just fuck around and adjust that bitch like a day or two. That's it. How do you identify those value area zones in any time frame? Fixed range volume profile, Mark. Right here, right here. Fixed range. So this tool right here, this little yellow thing right here, right? This is visual range volume profile. It's literally what it says. Visual range. It's what I can see. So everything that I can see is being taken into consideration. Okay, if you want to do a fixed range, not a visible range, then you use this. And you can say, I just want the value area from here to here. Boom. Schwiggity. So this time it's a little bit different. You need to register. You need to put your UID in the dashboard. And you also need to make sure that you're registered on this thing. You have to click register. For CPI tomorrow, PPI was pretty chill. I liked it. Let's just take a look at the 4-hour structure. So here's where we are. So it's just, you know, there's so many things that you could draw here, but mainly that's the question mark. So it's the 60,600, it's the 60,000. Everybody's gonna have slightly different value area lows and whatnot. So CME, Coinbase. It's my pleasure, No Diabito. Do you have any questions before we take off, brother? I can't really, like, I'm not gonna, I think the stuff that would be the least useful would be to talk about trades between now and CPI. I think the best types of things to be thinking about right now would be how to maybe, like what we think CPI, levels and price action is gonna be like. Some of you guys will say, hey, PPI stole all of the volatility, CPI will crab. Some of you guys will say, it might still be volatile, but the initial debate move isn't gonna happen anymore. Some of you guys are still gonna want an initial move as a debate. Some of you guys will wait to see how S&P gaps as we approach market open tomorrow. So Sir Skyrick says, what do you think about the daily close of today? Well, the daily close is going to happen in 45 minutes, right? Do you think there's going to be a possibility for a value rotation? Possibly, right? Because you have value area high here, value area low here. So if it comes here or here, you know, right around here, if it moves back in, you might have a full rotation play. How many of y'all are doing something like this right now? Did it already hit the golden pocket? Oh, fuck. Okay. Still, how many of y'all are thinking about, if it goes up there and if it squeezes, that might be a short? That's not the greatest. I think Okay, clean that and it cleaned those basically with this move. Well, if you're in a short, you probably don't want it to go back above the 0.5. As long as it stays above 0.5, you're probably in good shape for it to really rotate down. But if it does go back up, it might be an interesting opportunity. It just depends on how those get cleaned. And then remember what we talked about on here. So some of these have an opportunity to either break even or they might even start juicing. This guy started to enter around here. So this guy is just about break even. Some of these are already juicing. And then the longs. Open long, nope. 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 Then squeeze. Shorts get stopped out, and then we'll see if that's an opportunity. So watch the longs get squeezed first, shorts next. Wrong person, I see you. Do you pay attention to Coinbase Spot CVD? No. But do you remember what I said earlier? Always long. I would love it if you want to start to look at it. Okay, and if you spot something juicy, let me know. Do you remember what I was saying earlier in the day? That everybody is always asking me for help, but nobody worried about my ass? You know, I need help too. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing sometimes. So just because I'm not looking at it doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Rather, you should say, that part of the jungle is unguarded. Let me go take a look to make sure that we're not missing anything as lions. So just because I don't doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Sounds good. But the reason why I don't always long is the same reason I look at the Bybit BTC USD CVD divergence on volume-based candles, because that's the one that is the most reliable. So as long as the bear div that you're looking at, or whatever it is on Coinbase CVD, you want to be able to tell me that the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 actually worked. Yes. 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the 30-minute candle close. Any TA, any math related questions? You guys okay? I just want to make sure that you guys are all planned out and ready to go. First things first, identifying levels. So levels to the upside, levels to the downside. Just from a Fibonacci standpoint, I know we're going to talk about the 0.5 Fibonacci rotation on CME, but golden pocket pullbacks. We identified the 6.5, the golden pocket and the 7.5, 7.86 windows for both the big and the smaller Fibonacci retracement. I think you guys can do some fixed range, not just fixed range, but visual range, volume profile stuff. So I would think at a minimum, you guys can do CME from here to here, Fib, golden pocket 786 from here to here, Fib, golden pocket 786, and then fixed range volume profile. Okay, you could do it from here all the way like that, or you could break it down and say from this gap to this break. And so you might be thinking, hey, the value area high retest could come all the way down here, and then just sprinkle in some single prints. Imbalances. Where are the good highs? Where are the bad lows? Okay, so this is kind of like what we're talking about. But again, like all that stuff, the bing, 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 it's still inconclusive for me, because you know me, all I care about is the 60,000 support or 60,000 resistance. So you got to juggle the higher time frame trade. Fuck. What if this thing actually holds and we actually stay inside 60,000 and we fully rotate? Or, oh man, all it was just like a fake out. It's a failed auction. We can't stay above 60,000. We're going to lose all this shit back. So you got to juggle that higher time frame. Yo, can I get a home run? And in the meantime, you got to watch out for the bing, bing, bing as we get PPI, CPI options expirations. And then somebody said Walmart is earnings on Friday, right? So Friday options expirations and Walmart earnings is going to be interesting on Friday too. T4 Trading says, I kept my long from 57.8, closed on 61.2 and shorted from there. I have my invalidation point, but not where to short again if that stop loss is triggered. Can you help me in those levels? Sure. These are the levels that haven't really changed for me. So if that short doesn't work, then just by looking at this, my next level of interest would be 62.4. And then if that doesn't work, then 63.3. But it's not really so much about the level per se, but it's the way in which we approach it. If we go here and we're squeezing all the shorts and there's no longs opening whatsoever, that's a little bit more confluence and confidence to say, hey, I might short that. If we're pumping and longs are opening, there's no way I would short that. So T4, it's not really so much for me about identifying where I might short or where I might long. It's more about why. So do you know what bullish open interest looks like? Do you know what bearish open interest looks like? Do you know the difference between time-based candles and volume-based candles? The difference between CVD divergences that show up on volume-based candles versus time-based candles. Which one is more reliable and on which exchange? So that's what I would keep an eye on, T4. So just again, to kind of answer your question, I would probably do something like this. Were you here when we drew it a couple days ago? And the other thing too, T4, is like, if it goes back up here, for example, like this, but it leaves a bad high, like if it does some goofy shit like this, you know, and then like, let's say that it's, you know, it depends on what time or when it is, but if it's like Macaulay Culkin or whatever, and if that's a bad high on CME, chances are that's probably going to get swept, and that's the short that you want to be in. And that's the bear div you want to take. So you got to see how it gets there and how it reacts. So, you know, structural edge. Do you know structural edge? Do you know how I prioritize structural edge? Swing failure pattern. Failed auction, trip 3 drives, Kimba Crown. You know, do you know how I prioritize different edge? So I have levels identified, but unless it gives me a reason to short, or if it doesn't give me a reason to long, I would never do it. I was thinking of 63 level, but the big Fibbo shows 75786 above 64K. There you go. Yeah. And don't just look at fibs. T4, look for confluence on volume. Okay? And don't forget the higher time frame idea. If you reclaim value, it has a high chance to rotate to the other side. This is your value. So the longer that it can stay in here, the higher probability it's going to have to rotate to this side. T4. So shorting is okay, just in case it can't actually hold this value area low and it loses it. And it ends up being like a big failed auction and we rotate all the way down. That's okay too, but think about all the different probabilities, okay, T4? And that's what makes this so fun. Well, maybe not fun for Sato, but anything else you guys want to talk about? But whatever you end up doing, T4, I'm going to root the shit out of you. All right. I want you to juice the fuck up. And no matter what happens, you shouldn't be talking about, fuck, I got wrecked. T4, even if you decide to put blind limits at 7.5 or front run 7.5 or whatever, you're going to have a already emotionally accepted stop loss, right? And you know exactly what your realized loss would be if you get fulfilled. And I'm not saying you're going to put blind limits in, but even if you were going to put blind limits in, you would have already thought to yourself, okay, if I get fulfilled and I get full stopped out, this is my realized loss. I'm okay with that. And so if it does happen, no big deal. You were already ready and you were committed to it. 411P says 63.5 is a really good point for me to look at data for short. 63.5. Okay. I feel you. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a bad short. This right here. We said it while I was playing Warzone, but that's not a... This would be significant, like where most scalpers would have TP'd. How many of y'all were here when we were talking about this in the morning? And we were like joking about watch. People are gonna come into chat asking me, hey, is it too late to long? And I feel like some of that happened. So this is not a bad short at all. And the best part about it is you can't lose. And so if you do have a short from here, what do you want to break? Gypsy, you have a short there. That's awesome. So Gypsy, what would be like something that would just be normal? This coming all, you're not freaking out, right? Gypsy, you're not freaking out on me, right? You're not freaking out on me, right? Okay, so no big deal. Obviously, Gypsy, you would love it to go back down here if it, before it starts like a bearish retest, because the chances are it's going to probably be there or right there. But the best part, brother, is you can't lose, man. So, what if CPI gets a little bit nasty on us and it does this? Jabate, bye. Gypsy, you could have a juicer for tomorrow, yeah? What about people from longs here? Are you freaking out if it comes down here? If you are, you might want to close and realize. But hey, or hey, if you're in a long, what about this? CPI comes out. Oh, fuck, we lost the value area high. Everybody that had blind limits. I'm putting blind limits in. Fuck. No way. I fucking knew it. Oh, fuck. Blind limits. Stop loss. Easy money, Bugatti money. Oh, I'm filled. I'm juicing. No, I'm not. Fuck, I'm stopped out. Manipulation. Got him. So we could sit here and draw every single hypothetical, but who gives a shit about that? Identify levels and then see if it looks bullish or bearish. Any other questions? You guys can see this, right? Value. Fuck, why I don't want it to magnetize. So, single print grab and go would be ideal for bulls. Maybe, something like that. But you can't start doing something like this if you're bullish. You can't do that. So that would be more bullish than rotating to the value area high of here. Grab and go would be nice. That is a little bit more assy because then you could just get rejected off. So it's just bing bong ding dong. See how, what would you qualify as losing or holding as support? Is it time? Is it the edge? Is it the open interest? That's where you get to have fun and kind of figure out what would be good for you. Any questions? T4, you good? Always long, you good? 19 minutes on the daily candle close. You guys are the best, Lions. Longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, Bears, we're all Lions. Sato, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss.